Hi there. A little story from 100 Classic Jewish Tales, a Howard Schwartz compendium from Leaves from the Garden of Eden. A little story called The Cottage of Candles that I hold very dear. I really like this story. There was a Jew who went out into the world to seek justice, as it is written, "Justice, justice shall you pursue," in Deuteronomy. Somewhere, he was certain, true justice must exist, but he had never found it, so he set out on a quest that lasted many years. He went from town to town and village to village, and everywhere he went, he searched for justice, but he never did find it. In this way, many years passed, until the man had explored all of the known world except one last great forest in the great beyond. He entered the forest without hesitation, for by now he was fearless, and he went everywhere in it. He went into the caves of thieves, but they mocked him and said, "Do you expect to find justice here?" And he went into the huts of the witches, where they were stirring their brews, but they laughed at him and said, "Do you really expect to find justice here?" He went deeper and deeper into the forest, until at last he arrived at a small clay hut. Through the window he saw many flickering flames, and he was curious about them. So he went to the door and knocked. No answer. He knocked again. Nothing. So at last he pushed open the door and stepped inside. Now, as soon as he stepped inside the cottage, he realized that it was much larger on the inside than it had seemed to be from the outside. And it was filled with hundreds and hundreds of candles on shelves everywhere, dozens and dozens of dozens everywhere. And some of the candles were precious, in holders of gold and silver or marble, and some were in cheap holders of clay or tin or brass, and some of the holders were filled with oil, and the flames flickered brightly, and yet others had very little oil left. All at once an old man with a long white beard, wearing a white robe, appeared before him. "Shalom Aleichem, my son," the old man said. How may I assist you?" "Aleichem shalom," the man replied. "I have gone everywhere searching for justice. I have not found it, and yet never have I seen anything like this. Tell me, what are all these candles?" "Well," the old man said, "each of these candles is the candle of a person's soul. And as long as the candles continue to burn, that person remains alive. But you know, of course, when the candle burns out, the person's soul takes leave of the world." "Oh," said the man, "can you show me the candle of my soul?" he asked the old man. Now the old man said, "Follow me." And he led him through the long pathways in the cottage. And the man saw that they just seemed endless. But at last they reached a low shelf, and the old man pointed to a candle in a holder of clay and said, That is your soul. The candle of your soul is there." Now the man took one look at the candle, and he began to tremble, for the wick was very short, and there was very little oil left, and it looked as if the wick was just going to slide into the oil any minute. It was going to sputter out. He wondered He wondered if his end could be so close, and he just didn't even know it. Then he suddenly noticed that the candle next to his own, it was in a very similar clay holder, but it was full of oil. And its wick was long and straight, and it was burning really brightly. "Whose candle is that?" the man asked. "Oh," said the old man, "I can only reveal each man's candle to himself alone." Having said that, he turned and left. Now the man stood there quaking, and all at once he was startled to hear a spluttering sound, and when he looked up, he saw smoke rising from another shelf, and he knew that somewhere a soul had just taken leave of this world. He turned back to his own candle and saw there was really only a few drops of oil left, and then he looked at the candle again next to his own, so full of oil. A terrible idea, entered his mind. He looked for the old man in every corner of the cottage, but he didn't see him anywhere, so quickly he picked up the candle next to his own, and he lifted it up to his own. At that instant, the old man appeared out of nowhere, gripped his arm with a grip like iron, and the old man said, "Is this the kind of justice that you have spent your life seeking?" The man closed his eyes because it hurt so much, and when he opened his eyes, he saw that the old man was gone, and the cottage and the candles had all disappeared. He found himself standing alone in the forest, and he heard the trees whispering his fate, and he wondered, had his candle burnt out? Was he too no longer amongst the living? Thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed it.